Councilor Bay.
I have items A, B, and C. Old business. Anyone here discuss that? Yes, sir.
Morning, councilors. Matt OJ, Deputy Commissioner of Assessment. I think there were a couple of discrepancies in the letter from April and the more recent letter that we had to smooth over. But yeah, this is to authorize the sale of those 3 parcels on Prospect Avenue to the adjacent developer.
Councilor Hogan, you guys want to accept this?
Yes, this is after a long, involved process that we worked with the city, and I think the developer's okay with what they're going to pay, correct?
Yeah, they signed off on the purchase price with the appraisal baked in, and yeah, they're comfortable with that.
Okay, so I'm perfectly okay if everybody's in agreement, and I appreciate your efforts on this,
Oh,
too.
happy to. I think Eric gets most of it.
Councilors have any questions? If not, then those items will be ready.
Thanks.
I have item 9. I'm going to start that one ready with a question mark. Councilor Bay.
I have items number 10 through 12. Is this zoning coming back? Anybody here to discuss item 10? Anybody want to give me any detail on item 10?
Item 10 is a revision to extend the amount of time for the redistricting commission because of the late numbers from the census.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. So I'm assuming there's no concern with that? All right, so we'll call that ready. And I know you guys discussed 11 and 12. Any other councilors have any questions on items 11 and 12? You do, Councilor Grant? Yeah. Yeah. Someone want to come up and answer questions for item 11 and 12? How you doing, Heather?
Sure, good afternoon, counselors. Did you have questions about either one of them?
I'm sorry, no, I don't have.
Oh, no, you didn't. All right.
I was curious about.
He was getting ready. Okay.
Item 12, if you could go into that a little bit, the Salt Springs Road.
Yes, so they are changing the 2 restaurants into basically college, university, educational space for Lemoyne for their entrepreneurship program.
This is the little plaza across.
Yes, on that triangular piece of property where the Barnes & Noble bookstore is.
Okay.
Yep. There were 2 restaurants. Those are moving out, and this new college space that is basically part of Lemoyne College is going in there.
I'm curious. It says in the on the item that 2 people spoke in opposition to the proposal. Do you know what their opposition was? I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, they spoke about Lemoyne buying up property in the neighborhood and historic houses in the neighborhood being bought by Lemoyne, and they would not like to see that continue.
So not really directly related to this.
No.
There's no other questions? Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
All those items will be ready.
Councilor Green.
Thank you, Madam President. So item 13, I know there's supposed to be a meeting in November with Microsoft, and I'm assuming that hasn't happened yet. Is that right, Jen? Okay, so we'll hold that one until we have that meeting. The item 14 is the Syracuse University agreement, which is currently being revised. So we'll hold that, assuming that it gets revised probably by the next meeting, I'm thinking. Item 15 was discussed in our committee meeting. That was the 1199 SEIU training for outreach. Does anyone have any questions on this item? Okay. Item 16 is a transfer of funds for cash capital. Any questions on that item? Item 17 is a tax roll correction for Butternut Street. Any questions there? And then item 18 is related to hiring an appraiser. So those are my items. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 19 through 24. 19 is just an agreement for 20 spots for the new tenant in the space. We discussed that. Are there any questions on that? Okay, I'm gonna call that ready. 20 and 21, they're intermunicipal agreement with Onondaga County, but the green infrastructures, or someone to speak to those items.
Good afternoon, Councilor. We spoke about this in a committee meeting. This is an agreement with the county. They're doing some replacing of some piping and some catch basins down there. And then we're gonna come right behind them and pave the road, so.
Any questions on those two items? No? Okay, we'll call both those ready. Item 22 is, I guess, increase the amount for the street sweep material and catch basin to go to the landfill in Camillus. Is there any questions on that one? You know, it's just, we discussed it in the committee meeting, it's just additional, you know, we cleaned up more than we thought, I guess, so. All right, I'll call that ready. I think the last two items are from water. Is there someone here to discuss those items?
Good afternoon, Joe Awald, Commissioner of Water. So item 23 is a request to get into an agreement with EFC grant application for our Brighton Pump Station Water Main Project. This is up to a potential amount of $3 million. Any questions? The project or the grant application?
Yeah, the project, yeah.
So the project is to replace our existing Brighton Pump Station, which is located right across from Brighton Towers and Brighton Ave. To redo that pump station, which flooded, I think, a year ago, kind of knocked out all the controls, so we have it, you know, on a limited basis right now. So the project will include a new pump station above grade, about 3,000 feet of water main up the street to the city line, along with a new PRV pit, which is a pressure reducing valve pit connected to the south branch, which is located in the the former Lafayette Country Club. So we can bring water down Lafayette Road and back over to Brighton. Any other questions?
That's ready, and then 24.
So item 24 is to award our general engineering services contract to EDR. The committee met and voted, and based on the votes, that's who we're selecting. Any questions?
Okay, that item is ready as well, and Madam President, those are my items.
Could I just go back to 23 quickly?
Sure.
Commissioner, so the 40% local match, so we're talking about a 1.23. No, and that, you can take care of that in your capital budget as
Yep,
far as
we've
that
already
goes?
we've
We're
already
okay?
bonded for the project.
We're flush with cash there?
Yep, we
Okay.
bonded, we're set. This, you know, the project is being bid for construction right now. We're gonna receive bids next Tuesday. This grant finally opened up after we went out to bid. So, we're gonna go after this grant because this is a shovel-ready project, and that's where they like to award them.
And obviously, this wouldn't be eligible for any kind of ARPA money at all.
Correct.
Okay. So, okay, thank you, Council.
Those are my items, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Hogan.
Thank you, President Hudson. Items 25, 26, and 27, they're all fairly routine agreements that we have as we approach the holiday season. So I'm going to call them all ready unless there's questions from my colleagues.
Madam President, I have 28 to 33. Both these items, like Chief Cecil, if you can talk about 32 and 33, but let's wait to see if the other council has questions about the other.
I do. I want to ask a question, because I'm looking at these GIVE grants, and I know they're coming through the DOJ, GCJS. So what I want to know is Is Finn Institute getting any of this funding, or is this straight money just coming through BCJS?
I'm sorry, is who getting it from?
Finn. They weren't the ones that wrote this grant, were they?
Sure. So they're,
Oh, they
I
were.
don't know if they're getting some of this money. They certainly do get money to do some of that gun violence mapping and things like that. President Hudson, I did have Colin Hillman, the sergeant that oversees us, here last for this Public Safety Committee meeting. He probably could have answered that, but I can definitely get you that answer. If they do receive some, it would be a small amount, because he went over the budget. I think Councilor White asked him about the budget, and he went line for line about where the money went. The vast majority of it goes for the law enforcement, and then some of it goes for the community engagement, where they have caseworkers to work with individuals. But I'll get you whether they do get some and the exact amount that they get, if they do.
Okay. And then I have one more question on that. So, you know, I've talked a lot about Finn Institute and how we have higher education here that we could tap into. So are we looking at moving away from Finn, or are we just married to these people for the rest of our life?
Yeah, I don't think we're married to them, but there's certainly people that could talk more eloquently about why they're perfectly suited for the relationship we have with them. But I don't think we're married to them, and I think if we found a partner that could do what they do for us, I think we would certainly look to go in that direction.
Thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? Okay, could you go line by line with the 32 and 33, please?
Of which one?
Start with 32.
Is this, you want me to go through each one of them? I'm sorry,
Start with 32, just explain what that is.
still can't hear you, Counselor. I
32,
apologize.
item
Number 32, and
32,
explain
okay,
it to us,
gotcha.
yeah.
It's hard with the masks on. It's just,
Yeah, I
I can't, and you all know I just had a birthday, so I'm very old now, so.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. So 32 is our EVOC training. It's kind of connected with 33. We both need classroom and obviously the track. So 32 is $2,000 for the classroom, because there's instructions involved, not just track time. So $2,000 is for the classroom, $8,000 is for the track time. Oswego County Airport, and that track out there is the only track in all of central New York where we can train. As you know, about 85% of what officers do is drive, so it's very important that we take them through this training at least once a year, if not twice a year, so that they can get trained up on operating that vehicle in extreme conditions.
So is this a special vehicle more than just the regular vehicles, Chief?
It's the police vehicles, but we're taking them through a track, going through obstacles, going lights and siren, going through vehicles and barriers and obstructions and pedestrians and things like that, so that they can take these vehicles through city streets as carefully as possible if they're going on a code. So that's what it really is. I mean, there's also some driving where you're just going around cones and attempting to get in, areas where you might have to if there's fire trucks blocking or something of that nature. But the vast majority is training to take these vehicles in emergency conditions.
All right, anyone with other questions on this one? Thanks a lot, Chief.
Yeah, and I apologize that I couldn't hear you.
No, I should have used the mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, I need
I just got a general question of administration. Corey, do we, at some point, will we get an evaluation and assessment of like some of this how this ARPA money's been spent? I'm particularly thinking about that summer fellows program that we started at the end.
Sure, yeah.
You know, because some of our questions, obviously, you had the Allen Foundation here and all that, they said what was going to be accomplished, and it was based on the former program. I'm just wondering if we're going to get an assessment
Sure.
evaluation.
You're looking for a progress report, including what's
Yeah.
already been spent? No problem.
When, you know when we can expect that, or?
I'm going to look to Jen.
Good afternoon, counselors. Yeah, so we are planning to begin quarterly reports to council starting at the end of this current quarter, which would be December, and then we'll produce the regular reports after that. But I'm happy to send a summary now, just in terms of a quick list of what's been authorized. But we will, when we come back in December, we'll include any outcomes or outputs from the projects that have already taken place. I think the summer youth employment's a good example, because that one obviously was fully delivered, so we will have data on performance. But I can at least send a summary of what's been spent and authorized to date, so that folks can see that, and then we'll provide the performance information.
Well, I think that's important, obviously, what's been spent, but also I'd like to see the effectiveness.
Yep.
You know, like a judgment and efficacy, and especially at Summer Fellows Program.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. We can do that, Counselor. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, President Hudson.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.